All right. Well, thank you guys again for being on time. We're going to go ahead and get started because I know you guys have a ton of things to do out there. So, welcome back. I hope each and every one of you had a wonderful weekend. But it's time to shake that weekend off. It's time to put focus back into the stores because guess what? We're almost in the middle of the month. At the end of this week, we're already halfway through April, and it feels like we just started April off. So, we're going to go through a couple of different reminders with you as usual, as well as what to do this specific week to drive in some more guest traffic. Use the Planet Beach birthday month to capitalize on your in the bank and your lead generation, as well as the second quarter campaign. And then we're going to discuss a few different things about the week that's important for you guys to know. So sit tight, bear with me. We'll get through this as quickly as possible because I know you guys are just dying to get out there and start doing all of your tasks today, right? Okay, so first off, you guys need motivation. You're the leaders, right? You are the franchisees. You are the spa directors. You're the ones in charge of kicking off this week. Guess what? Every single person that comes into that store that works for you, that clocks in, whether it be a spa consultant or a bed cleaner, room attendant, phone consultant, you name it, whatever your attitude will be after you hang up this phone call and you start your day off is going to be reflected on their performance. So remember that. Also, another thing to remember too, as most of us get so caught up in being managers more so than leaders simply because we have goals to hit. And it's not a fault, it's just a flaw and it's a weakness that we always need to keep in the back of our mind. You guys are the leaders. It's up to you to set the tone on if it's going to be a happy and productive workplace or if it's going to be a miserable place to show up at and, oh, somebody's going to end up not showing up for a shift and quitting this week and cause you to work a double. We want to avoid that, right? So your motivation is change your management style this week. If you are that hard dictatorial manager type of leadership, if you're the one that brings down the accountability all the time, switch it up. And vice versa. If you are the leader, switch it up because we all know what leading with hugs all the time means. If we constantly keep letting people off the hook without any type of clear-cut understanding that if you fail to deliver and meet your tasks and your job responsibilities at this point, that's strike two. The consultant should know what happens after strike two, a write-up or verbalization of a warning, whatever the case might be. But what is your current management / leadership style right now? We've been talking the last few weeks about doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results in every other avenue of our roles, whether it's marketing or sales. Now take a look at that with your management style. If what you're doing you feel like has been the same thing and you've constantly been restaffing, training, everything like that under the sun, that means, guess what? It's time to reflect on yourselves. So with that said, that's our motivation that's going to kick us off this week. We're going to talk about ourselves. We're going to really self-reflect on our own management and our own leadership styles. And always remember this, before you can manage and bring the iron fist down, before you can hold anybody accountable like you are either currently doing or know you need to do, understand you can't do that at all. You have no leg to stand on if you do not provide the motivation, the training, the knowledge, the support, the tell, show, do, and the clear-cut understanding and circumstance step by step with a disciplinary action approach on what would happen should they not deliver. You have to cover all those things first. So with that said, are they educated fully? Are they trained fully? Have you communicated everything that you get from these calls, from those webinars fully? Because if you have expectations after that for them to just know and understand without that and without being their leader and motivating them, then guess what? They're just going to get aggravated and that's not a happy workplace. They're going to get burnt out and it's not fair. So they'll quit and then they'll tell other people not to work for you and then you're stuck working in the spa all the time. So inspire them instead. Before trying to put together any type of management or disciplinary action approaches to anything you're expecting for this month to close out strong, make sure you're providing a platform where you're inspiring them to do better, to push themselves. If you've noticed that you have an eagle, a potential eagle that has actually hit a goal or on track to hit a goal, push them even further by saying, why would you want to settle for just this much money? Push yourselves to make double whatever you stood to make before had you hit this goal. So in other words, your paycheck would at most be this based on what your hours are worked, and if you sell this much in Memcash and retail, you stand to make this much at most. So if you push yourself to just do one or two more memberships, one or two more red appointments, one or two more products per shift each day, and add that up every single day for the rest of the payroll period, look at what your check would look like versus what you're standing to be accepting to make by just saying, oh, I'm going to hit goal, or I already hit goal, I'm fine, and just sit back and collect that paycheck or collect that hourly base pay. So show them, lead them, push them, give them the visualization, but inspire them. Support them, reward and recognize the positives. That's huge. It's all too often, and I'm the same way. I do this sometimes here in our department whenever, we look to constantly be perfect at everything. We want to make sure we do everything the right way. We have every opportunity taken. It's too common and natural for us to focus on the weak areas, right? Well, that was great, but you know what? I noticed you did this and this and this, so let's work on this to improve that and this to improve that, instead of saying, that's great. You know what I really like that you did, and I think that I'm going to have everybody do from now on, is I love how you said this and this and that. That's amazing and awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I just learned something from you, even though I'm a manager, right? You just taught me something, and I greatly appreciate that. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you, I don't know, this Starbucks gift card for $5 or something, because you always come in and get coffee every day for your shift. That was awesome that you were able to upsell that person, or do the second sale, or do the add-on. Whatever that positive is, make sure that you highlight that. Don't just go, yeah, that was great, but anyway, here's where you screwed up. That's not rewarding and recognizing positives. So make sure you go into rewarding them for an actual positive, as well as telling them where their weak areas are, because that's huge for your consultants to feel like you respect them. They'll feel like you have a place for them where you appreciate all their hard work, and they stick with you longer, so you'll have to worry less. So light the fire within them, not underneath them. That's huge. You want to get them to want to work for you. You don't want them to feel like they have to work for you. So now, remember, and I had this shared with you guys to take a screenshot if you guys are looking at the webinar itself. That's another big reason why we do this. It's just a little motivational picture with a lion on it. That's something that I like to do every day as well here at the corporate offices, is provide something like that daily to each and every one of us. So the mediocre teacher, they tell, right? They tell you, here's how to do it. That's an okay teacher. The good teacher explains it though, right? We talk about tell, show, do. So if I'm a good teacher, I'm not only going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to show you how it happens, right? Look, this is what our new process is for multi-visit guest pass. Now, let me show you how to do it, and then do it on them. That's a good teacher. Now, the superior teacher will demonstrate, do a tell, show, do training, right? And then they'll have them do it back to them. They'll do the do. So let's role play. That is a superior teacher by doing all three. This is a tell, show, do example. However, the great teacher, that great teacher inspires. So if you're having a tell, show, do training, whatever you're pushing down this week for lead generation, you're texting, you're email blasting, you're trying to get people in the door, getting them on the birthday specials, and so on and so forth. So you want to tell your staff how to do it right. The perfect way to do this, you guys are in charge. It's up to you. It's on your shoulders to make sure that the entire team performs. So in doing so, tying into what we just mentioned, when you're doing a tell, show, do training with them to show them how to buy back things or how to sell 20 days for $20, make sure that you go through the tell, show, do, but then if they get frustrated, or if they're like, oh, well, no, I don't know why I can't seem to figure this out, or I'm not successful in it, it's a great teacher. It is the top of the notch teacher that says, why are you so concerned? You're overthinking it. You're better than you think that you are. You're actually better than I was when I first started doing this. So you got this. What do I need to do? Do you want me to just stay with you one-on-one and then we work on this together? Or how about this? And provide solutions like, use this on your friends, practice on your friends, invite them in. Worst case scenario, they get their friends in and they sign up for memberships and you get more members, right? But showing them how and providing the inspiration and the positivity makes all the difference in the world when it comes to your staff delivering for you. Because we all know that if you guys were in there 12 hours a day, then yeah, you'd be a top 20 store if you could be in there, right? But it's up to them to do this for you and you're at their mercy. So be sure you're doing everything in your power to keep them on the right track, keep them positive, keep them understanding that you support them. Think about this before you start the week off with the previous advice. To be successful in anything I just mentioned, if you're not sold yourself, if you're not positive, if you don't have the capability to be that positive reinforcement, then guess what? then it'll be pointless to even try that, right? Because if we're not going to be able to be in love with our own jobs, if we don't have the passion ourselves, you're not sold yourself. The same way we tie that into the sales process of being sold yourself and in the enthusiasm part of Swell, then your employees, they can see that. Your employees can see like you're a miserable person in life, therefore your fake positivity is not helping me. But if you have a pilot or an assistant spa director, or maybe your franchisee is better with motivating team and you're more of the accountability holder or vice versa, get their help. They can be the people that can sort of swoon in and sort of solidify everything and be like, listen, all that directive that you got from your, manager or the franchisee, you can do this, you got this, but here's how, and here's some different ideas on how you can hit and exceed those goals that they put in place. But you need to be sold on it. You need to be positive because it won't work. So remember, be in love, have the passion, do it yourselves, or else none of it's going to pay off for you. And you're going to be like, okay, Danielle, nice try, but it didn't work out. So now what? Now, moving on, hopefully you guys are pumped and motivated and you know exactly how you're going to direct your team to hit these goals this week and follow this task list that you see in front of you if you're on the webinar. This week's marketing duties for the week of April 11th. Now, the product of the week is spa sprays. By the way, FYI, it's been a huge hit in our stores, specifically with hotbox units, but you don't necessarily need to have a hotbox unit to be able to sell these in the store because they are becoming member faves. And I'm personally addicted myself to the peppermint rose. But post a flyer in your spa. Post flyers behind the doors, whatever you need to do, and on your social media sites as well. That should have happened already. But what we're going to do is create our template today, guys, because what happens on Tuesdays at 10:30, as you see here, we're email blasting. And we always want to remember to incorporate a lead capture where people can forward the email to friends to allocate ambassador rewards. You want to pay their bills, right? I want to pay your dues, so make sure that you forward this email. If you don't come in for the product of the week, at least forward this to a friend, and if they come in and get a, membership, we pay next month's dues for you. So forward this to as many people as you'd like. And the same with the Google form, you guys. You're creating people to have to implement and fill a form out where they're basically saying, "Hey, call me. I want something from you." And it's less pushback from your team to reach out to these people because in their mind, they're probably not prospecting and promoting because they're introverted. They don't really want to have that conversation. They feel like they're soliciting and bothering people with phone calls, so they just don't do it. Well, in this case, people are literally asking for you to call them to get something. So this is also going to help with getting your team to actually book red appointments or do outreach and get people in the door. We're going to text blast on Wednesday we're going to get all of our missed reds from the entire month of April so far that didn't show up, or maybe the guests that showed up but did not get anything or buy a membership or buy anything at all where they're coming in now. We're going to text blast them, and we're going to offer the 20 days for $20 just to get them in the door, folks. That's all we care about. We want to let them know that April is the only time that we're able to do this promotion because it's a Planet Beach birthday and we're running low on time, so we want to just reply with yes, right? If you want to redeem 20 days of your favorite spa service for $20, that's a huge savings. And if you want to incorporate in that text blast, by the way, because it was beneficial for me when I did it, what the value of 20 services would initially or typically cost somebody, that's huge too. That way they'll see, oh, it costs, a couple $100 or it costs $100 and something to usually get 20 sessions, or I'm sorry, 20 days, and it's only $20. Maybe I should snatch this up. Guys, please write this down. Mother's Day is next month. This was huge for me, and I didn't even realize it. Whenever I was calling people back that replied yes when I worked in the store that week and I did the blast on this, people were like, is it okay if I buy one for my mom and my mother-in-law while I do this with you on the phone? And I'm like I'm going to say no, right? I'm like, that's a great idea. So moving forward, everybody else I called to contact about that replied yes, that wanted that, and I was making credit card over the phone sales, I was asking them, listen, Mother's Day is next month. I don't know if you already have something in mind to get them, but this would be a nice little either additional gift or a gift in general for a mother-in-law, and have this as an additional gift for your mom for whatever else you want to give to her, whatever the case might be. But that actually reminded people, and they were like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So, I was getting, instead of $20 per call I was making for outreach, I was getting $40 and $60 more successfully by dropping that in their ears. So take that little bit of info with you and put that in your text blasts too, or maybe your email blasts too about Mother's Day coming up. You want to be able to catch people before they get the gifts already and go shopping already. So now would be a good time to start implementing that. And then you see Thursday, we have another email blast with not only the product of the week, but an enter to win form created, a Google form created for an exclusive spa party for referrals that you would have gotten from any of the members that you blast tomorrow. You want to allocate one new B2B, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that really simply before we get off this call. That way you can get one new B2B at least this week and feel a little bit accomplished as far as bringing in some fresh blood, bringing in some fresh businesses into your spa, or even kickstarting it if you haven't been on your B2B game. So here is your motivational picture. As you've seen, if you're following Planet Beach's corporate page like we suggested, by doing so on Facebook, you can literally move it to where when Planet Beach posts anything on the corporate office-wide scale, Socially Buzz does this for us. You can actually get the notification to be in the top of your news feed if you do so by going to the Planet Beach corporate Facebook page. They automatically post this every single Monday. If you're a part of the Facebook group, I did share that with you guys with the reminder of this call/webinar. But there you see it. That's something for you guys to save and download to your computers and then repost it to your spa's social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, so on and so forth. But as you see there, it's got directions on going to the main Planet Beach page and go into the specific event detail to retrieve it. But you can definitely get the notifications every time it's posted in real time on our main page without waiting for us or me or Megan or somebody to post it to the Facebook group. You'll see the notification immediately at the top of your news feed, and that way you can do it immediately and get it done quicker. But share that with your members, because what's that doing, guys? You're not just posting specials and sales. That's when you lose engagement. That's when people click hide feed from this person. You don't want to be that place of business that only posts when you want people to buy something. You want to keep them engaged all the time. You want them to want to follow you the same way I'm telling you guys to follow corporate's Facebook page to get this notification every time this picture is available. They'll need the motivation. Motivate members. They'll appreciate how I'm doing for you guys. They'll appreciate you doing that for them, and they'll look forward to these little things. And you know what's even better? They'll share it and look on there. What's on there? That's perfect. That's like brand awareness. It's sharing a Planet Beach Monday motivation. It's sharing and it's getting your brand out there as well. So make sure you make that available and feel free to share, members. But here's a little motivation from us to you. We hope you have a great week here at Planet Beach such and such. And don't forget, you guys, now we're getting into the good stuff, meat and potatoes. I'm going to hurry this up because I know you have a lot to do. Your quarterly campaign is for every $50 spent in your spa as of April 1. Every $50 they get a $10 off rewards for your next purchase. Now there are restrictions, so make sure that you tell them that you staple this to the backs of their receipts every time they purchase $50 or more in your spa. But you're trying to promote recurring retail sales and retention with this entire campaign. And right now, Victoria's Secret is offering that, thanks to Heather Cortez for posting that. And that reminded her, as if you didn't see in the Facebook group, to ask her staff if everybody was on the ball with handing these out to people. Because right now Victoria's Secret's doing it too, along with Rue 21. So that's perfect. That is our target audience, and we are right on board and we're right on schedule, right alongside with them. There are restrictions to use it. You cannot use it until a specific date, and you only have a specific set of days to utilize this $10 off. So please explain that to them at the point of sale, because you want to avoid any possibility of a customer service issue arising from that. Now, let's talk about the good stuff here, because I care about your in-the-bank totals. Where are you guys at? Because when I pulled up Spa Central this morning, I looked at how much on average per day each of our stores need to make, and it's $430 days in order for each of us to be able to stay on track to being at a break even alone from April of 2015. I care about that, you guys. I care about your numbers. So what does that mean? We need to start thinking smarter and working smarter and not harder. And a lot of that ties into our day-to-day routines and our time management schedules like we always talk about. So I won't say anything else more about that. You guys should know you should stick to a day-to-day, very, very disciplined time management schedule. Every single day you have got to stick with that. But let's talk about how we could capitalize on both of the Memcash and the EFT opportunities. For all those 20 days for $20 customers, you should be buying it back from them starting now. You should have been selling the 20 days for $20 starting April 1, that should have been you guys' understanding, and the whole team should have been doing that. So at this point, you're probably late to the party because what is the process? Remember, the buyback process is you want to swoop in halfway through the entire campaign, and then you want to sort of say, hey, listen, you've been loving the services. We want to keep you here. Right now is the time to do it. I can buy this back, and up, it's $20 to enroll. You already paid 20 bucks. You know what? I won't even take off what you already used. I want to buy back that whole 20, even though you already used some of those 20 days, and I want to put that towards becoming a member, because guess what? Right now is the only time you can actually join for nothing, because it's usually the prorated first month at $99, right? You're showing a sense of urgency with doing that right now. Also, they've already started coming in and seeing you for 20 days consecutively at this point, wherever they're at. So they already know the value at this time. They love the services. They've fallen in love with it, with you, with your staff. So it's a perfect time to swoop in and buy back. So the month of April has two opportunities in front of you to be able to drive in more cash and to get more members in for your May 1st draft. What's their WIFM? This is important. Bring this to your team, and I hope you're paying attention. They need to understand when you're communicating to your staff. Ask them. So what do you think is the WIFM here? What's in it for the customer to get these 20 days for $20? Can you tell me the value? Would you buy it? And talk to them and have them understand what their WIFM is and repeat it back to you, so you understand that everything you're training and communicating on is actually happening and it's effectively working. Because I'm going to tell you this now, if they're not sold themselves, if they don't understand how to pitch these things, they're not going to do it correctly, and they won't do it, and there will be no success in this, and you won't make any money. So please be sure that you cover all this. Saving money while enjoying your services. Get the mem cash first, then after a few visits, buy back the $20 that they spent, like we just mentioned, because guess what? Right now we're faced with one or the other. Do I want to get the mem cash? Well, you know what? Payroll just hit, so I think maybe I'm just going to focus on the mem cash. But what about those people that spent this earlier on in the month? Consider the fact that you have two opportunities. You don't have to do one or the other. So there it is. Just taking that, then buying it back will ultimately in turn bring you not only the money you need right now for your day-to-day productivity, for paying the bills, for covering payroll, but it's also going to mean on May 1 when you run your draft, it's going to be that much higher than your regular efforts that you're already doing every day to drive in some more guests and make them members. I need to take a second because I've noticed a couple of you out there that I've spoken to specifically, but a couple consultants in our meeting this morning did say that a lot of their spas struggled with being a little bit confused about the 20 days for $20 and how they're ringing it up. So I want to clarify that with you right here. I think this is the perfect platform for you. Please keep in mind that the 20 days for $20 is exactly that. It is days. So it's not services. What you're telling everyone is, and I had this misunderstanding when we first came up with the concept as well. So that's why I think if I had a misunderstanding, that there may be some out there, like some of you out there as well. But is as if they have a year to use them before they expire. No, what we're doing is creating that urgency and creating them to have to come in every single day, because if they miss one of those days, then they only have 19 days. If they miss two of those days, they have 18 days. So you want to urge and encourage them to come in every single specific day, book an appointment before they leave. I'm a personal fan of before they go into their service that they had the appointment for that day. That way, in case you get busy, you don't miss the opportunity to do so then. Book the appointment for their next visit before you put them in their service for that specific day's appointment. That way you don't miss the opportunity in case the phone rings or you need to go in the back, clean a service, get the towels, because that's happened to me a couple times in recent past in the stores since I've been back in there working, and I don't want to see anybody miss the opportunity to be able to get somebody in there every day and see the value. So with that, understand that, get them to understand and have them confirm with a verbalization. Yes, I understand. It is 20 days from the day of the first service, the first day that they use the service. So if they buy it on a Tuesday, then the 20 days are, you want to put the expiration date of by the end of the month, but from the date of when they start using that service, it's 20 days, and halfway through, the purpose of this is to initially get that 20 bucks, because halfway through we want to buy it back. Now, if you got the newsletter, you would have seen many of you might think that that's a really low price point. That's nothing. $20 for them to use 20 services. Here are the stipulations, so pay attention. When these people come in on the 20 days for $20, or you're pitching a 20 days for $20, if you're a location that you know that you don't use the personal spa profile as much as you should, and at this point you're pitching this and you haven't done a personal spa profile yet in that point of your conversation, it's important for you to pull one out at this time, get them to fill it out, because what you want to do realistically to just save the wear and tear on your services and make sure that you're allowing times to be open for everyone. We don't want everybody, in other words, 20 days for $20. We don't want people coming in and using 3 and 4 services in one day. We want only one, maybe 2 at most, depending on what they fill out on their personal spa profile. So it's important that, number one, you have to have, everybody who purchases this has to have a personal spa profile filled out and on file with their consent forms. 2, you can use the products and service regime form if you would like. It is available in Orion, that regime, the personal regime builder, because that is an actual piece of paper with a Monday through Sunday schedule that you can put together for them, write it down, and let them take back with them. This will be helpful if you decide to use that, so I hope that you guys are. But you'll have them and showcase what products go with the service or the 2 services that they'll use each of those 20 days. But you're going to go off the personal spa profile to decide that. So in other words, if it's weight management that they're in there for, and I have a hot box, or if I have a slim capsule and a hydration, I'm going to let them alternate one of the 2, because you can't do 2 back-to-back heat services, so that's going to be even better, that it's just 1 service per day. So Monday, I'm going to have them in hot box. Tuesday, I'm going to have them in slim capsule. Wednesday, I'm going to have them in hydration. Thursday, I'm going to have them in hot box, and then so on and so forth. And it's going to start each and every single day. And every single one of those services need products. So there's more sales too that you're going to generate, but have them stick to whatever's on that personal spa profile and then set their schedule to be as such. Now, midway through that is when you buy it back. So that's one important thing that you need to take back with you. That's a stipulation. And also ringing it up. Now, let's say you sell one. However you've been doing it, chances are you guys have been just editing a tan or something with an expiration date, which is fine. But for your consultants out there that do not, or maybe you have your phone consultant with capabilities of ringing things up and being able to sell certain things specifically, if it's not, a prospected red appointment and somebody comes in wanting something, let's say your phone consultant has, you grant them the opportunity or you grant them the permission to be able to ring something up. Well, not everybody can adjust expiration dates, so there is an alternative here. If you don't have the credentials in Spa Intel to be able to ring up like a 1 month and just edit the expiration date to be 20 days from then, you need to manage those services as well. So you'll have to go in the membership info, manage services to be whatever their personal spa profile says. So if they say they're for skincare, only services that are for skincare need to be allowed on that person's profiles. But if you don't have that capability, everybody of every single, except for like I think one, which is like room attendant or whatnot, or greeter or something, everybody has the capability to go into a customer profile and click comp membership or a guest pass, complimentary membership or guest pass, that little color button that's in their customer info, and just edit the expiration dates to be as such, and then choose the services from there and save it from there. So that way you can tell your consultants and people without the credentials to edit expiration dates, they have an alternative there as well. So that's how you would want to do that. Make sure whatever it is though, and however it is that you guys are doing it, because later on when you track how successful you guys were with the 20 days for $20, and you want to see how many people came in on it, how many people, sent people in on it, and you pull reports, you're going to need to know that and what to look for, because, maybe you'll tell them to ring a month up and do the expiration, or you're telling them to ring up one tan and edit the price point, but put the last available use date. Whatever it is, make sure you make note on what it is for tracking purposes. Your product of the week is spa sprays, like we'd mentioned. I love this stuff. Remember, don't go straight to discounting, guys. Product of the week, there are so many deductions coming out of a retail sale. It's crazy. So keep that in mind, between cost of goods, commissions, between royalties drafted, credit card merchant fees for that individual transaction. By the time the franchisee makes money off of it, it's a couple bucks. So last case scenario should always be the discount. But try to do the things that are in the marketing manual that you have on Orion. If you don't have that access to that, take a screenshot of the screen and use these bullet point ideas instead of offering the discount and you're highlighting a product of the week We just want to spotlight it to get it in the eyes and ears of people. So how can you incentivize your customers and members? How can you, what's there with them other than just buying a product from you? Offer $5 spa bucks with every purchase with a 7-day expiration. Each product of the week purchase gets an entry to win a drawing for some type of prize or enter to win. Free gift or a product sample with each featured product purchase, maybe of low cost, because we don't want to offer a free gift that costs more than the actual product of the week itself, because then that'll defeat the whole purpose of not discounting it, right? But consider this. Here's your tip. Now, upselling tip of the week, pay attention. By combining both the quarter 2 campaign, okay, with your $10 rewards and the product of the week, with choosing the bullet point to give a free gift or product sample or a BOGO, combine the two to help and see the members and customers coming in that you are spotlighting this to. It'll help and create urgency and have the opportunity to more than quadruple your sales in one point of sale transaction by saying, listen, I know, this is the spa sprays. You love this smell. You're getting 2 of them already. They're $12. So, that's the MSRP on it. I don't know, I know every market is different, but they're $12. You're getting 2 already. Just get 3 more. I'll throw 1 in there for free. I'll throw in a collagen eye mask. And this way you can reach the point where I can give you $10 off for your next purchase when you want to come back and buy some for Mother's Day for your mother-in-law. Saying stuff like that, teaching your staff to do stuff like that will then take a sale that was particularly going to be about $24, and you're turning it around into a $50 to $55 sale in one specific transaction just by upselling, and having that conversation with just one person. That will make the difference at the end of the day, guys, when you're $20 away from having hit your retail goal for Monday. So consider that. That's whenever that kind of stuff matters. And you don't think about it at the time, but being a good leader and being a good manager is reminding and pointing those things out after a sale is made on just one item and you notice them miss an opportunity on an upsell. But combine the two and urge people to upsell them, urge people to get more so that way you get more money in the bank and they have an opportunity to use that again and use a holiday like Mother's Day or something like that coming up as like a little additional or bonus gift along with the 20 for $20, right? There's so many opportunities that you have to keep in mind. Now, lastly, we'll wrap this call up with your reminders and your sales and lead generation tip for this specific week. There's really only 2 big management reminders this week, and that is Friday, like we discussed, is your mid-month. Now, if you are not currently having these mid-month meetings, because, and I talk to a lot of you now where you say, well, we stay in communication all the time. That's great. However, this kind of creates a sense of urgency with your staff. We talk about sense of urgency with your customers and members all day long when it comes to marketing and sales. Let's talk about how this can be beneficial for you and your team so that your team can then deliver and do the right things. Mid-month assessment meetings, you guys, are so important, which is why we have them in place for more reasons than, hey, we want you to have another meeting. It's really more than that. What it really is you're telling your team, guys, we're really not that far away. It's really not impossible for us to hit this dollar amount. Our goal is this, and look where we're at. If you just push yourself and pull in an extra $100, or if you just push yourself and drive in that last little corporate account you were working on with the apartment complex down the street, do you realize that we'll have this goal hit by next week instead of before the month, and then we're pretty much golden with getting our bonuses? That's the purpose of that mid-month, by saying, listen, we're halfway through, but it's not over yet. So any place that you are struggling in, you still actually have an opportunity to put a lot of focus on, and not so much focus on the areas you're stronger in, putting all your efforts into that weakest area to be able to pull those numbers up where there's a whiff for everyone. Everybody's making more money. You potentially get your incentive that you were promised in the beginning of the month. You're driving in more guest traffic, which is continued sales and retention and more leads to drive in more sales for May. So there's so many whiffums involved, and in the mid-month assessment meeting is important for you to take that opportunity to be able to create that sense of urgency among your team. Like, listen, we're already halfway through, so it could be a cakewalk, or you could take it the opposite way. If you're really behind, that's your platform and your chance to say, guys, our franchisee in the last meeting specifically told us he or she is cleaning house if we don't at least hit our goals this month, not exceed, hit. So look where we're at, and it's already the 15th. We're so far behind. This is that coming to Jesus aha moment type of situation platform for you to take it into as well. So it serves multiple purposes, but if not everyone can be physically in attendance too for this meeting, remember, don't just not host it because everybody can't be there. This isn't like the end of the month review meeting and the, beginning of the month game plan meeting we always talk about you have once a month. This is more of a mid-month and a communications and a, training opportunity platform. So tell them, we'll use Skype or Google Video or some type of video, FaceTime you in. And if they can't even do that, last case, conference call them in. But it's important that you host it and don't call it off just because one person couldn't find a babysitter or somebody had class that night. Definitely still host that meeting, because even 3 of your 4 or 5 staff members being present is more beneficial than not having anybody present to a meeting that does not exist. But whatever you do, please hold this meeting, you guys, because it's very important that you assess where you're at midway through the month. And there is an art to doing this effectively and appropriately where this pays off. If you do not do it the right way, then it is going to be no benefit. There will be no payoff, and you're not going to do it again in the future, and you're not going to see value in doing this. So how do you do it? Well, that's what this Wednesday's webinar is about. Please be sure you register for that, and the link to do so is everywhere. The newsletter, Orion, the company calendar, the Facebook group, and chances are your consultant emailed out all of the links for the month of April. I think last week, to be able, so go back and look in that email as well, but please get on this because you'll actually get step-by-step on how to conduct these meetings the right way where it pays off for you and you drive in some fire sales, right? They're going to have a little midway motivation midway through the month, and it's going to be like starting over a fresh new month all over again, as far as productivity is concerned. Be sure whatever you do that you have the meeting, even though the webinar didn't come up yet and you may not know how to conduct it, don't start your process. Don't halt your process of scheduling it until you learn all about it. Do it today. Have it done today. Send out a group text, send out whatever, if you have a Facebook closed secret group for your team or an email group, however you do it. Ask it Friday, Saturday good, which day is good for everybody to be able to be here. We're going to have this mid-month assessment, and I'm really excited about the things that we're going to talk about because we have some big opportunities among us. Get them excited to want to attend the meeting, but have it scheduled by close of business today to happen no later than Sunday night, to be held no later than Sunday night. It's important. Also, cancellations and collections focus. Here's helpful time management tip for you. Hope you're paying attention. Write this down. Now that we've gotten through halfway through the month, if you followed what we talked about on the previous calls and you stuck to that whole putting 2 to 3 hours per day on your call 1, 2, 3, 4, send email, send letter, send text process on collections, then guess what? Then you've gotten through it already. We're midway through the month. Now, if you've done so already, what you can do is dedicate your time to be 1 hour per day for just 2 days per week for the rest of April, because that's only if you've knocked out all of your call 1, send an email, call 2, send email, send text, call 3, leave voicemail, send text, send another email, and send certified letter out in the mail. When I'm done all of that with everybody that's in collections right now is only when I can move forward into this type of schedule that you see here, 1 hour per day for 2 days a week, this week and next, throughout the rest of April. Because remember, we cannot waste 1 minute of productivity time on growth. Growth is huge for our business, and it's important that we focus on the collections and retention and all those people canceling whose their last visit date's going to be April 30th. Pull that up in your queue. Those are your outreach of, hey, who do you want to take this membership over? The prices have nearly doubled, you're relieved from obligations, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So all those calls should only take place for 1 hour of your days this week and only for 2 days. What days are those going to be? You choose. You're the leaders, you're the franchisees, you're the spa directors. But say, 11 to 12 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday is when I'm going to do my random, okay, this is my 5th or 6th call, or maybe I'll try to get somebody, I'll write them on Facebook or do something different that I haven't done already. But up at noon, when that alarm goes off, stop. Because you have goals to hit for the rest of that day, and a team of people that rely on you guys as the team leaders. They rely on you guys to push them, to inspire them, to motivate them, and to stay on their butts. You only got $30 left before you clock out, and you clock out in an hour. Who can you call? Get a credit card number. Call your buddies. Call your friend. Call your mom. Call your aunt. Who do you need to do? You totally have that. How can you do that whenever you're focused and you're scatterbrained on everything else, right? So that's super important for you to remember. Here's your lead generation and sales tips. Use your B2Bs, guys. Tap back into your B2Bs. Who are some people you set up a few months ago? What about those tax people places, right? What about the ones from Valentine's Day? And what about the gyms from January when you did Detox Rocks? Have you been in touch with them? Have you stayed in touch with them? Have you had good communications? Send a random gift. Send them a random care basket as a thank you for being a business partner. Consider making them business of the week or month for May and tell them that you've selected them. Whatever you do, but whatever you need to do to re-engage with them, start re-engaging. Now, let's say you're tired of the same old thing, right? You're tired of the same businesses. Danielle already did the Google thing, already pulled up all the areas, the businesses in the area. What can I do next? Here's a good idea. Start getting where your members and customers work. The only way to do this is putting a business card drop box in your spa. How can you get them to drop their business cards, or if they don't have their business cards with them, leave the registration slips out to put their name and the place that they work with their work email address and their number, the phone number and address to their wherever their employer is. Leave that there for them to drop in the drop box, but you're letting them enter their staff, their entire office. You're entering them into win by dropping the business card for either an exclusive spa party, or everybody in your place of work will receive a day of spa for them and a significant other or one other person of their choice. So they have a whiff them by saying, oh, I want my coworkers to, I'll look really good to my boss or my coworkers if I get them to win this. So that's a great way for you not to have to leave the spa and get potential new B2B / corporate account people set up. And what's the incentive for your members? Once you actually take a look at this and you take that bowl and you start going through everybody's business card, you contact that member and you say, hey, listen, I have an opportunity for you to earn your membership to where you don't have to pay for it ever again. And if you help me out with this and getting in good with your boss and to setting up a B2B or a corporate account, then you'll never have to worry about paying dues for the next year or whatever the case might be. That will get them to go back to work in worst case scenario. Like I would totally do to Jessica. I would totally be like, listen, so I really like my gym and they're expensive, but it's my guilty pleasure and it's, I can't really afford them, but I need them. So if you could just set up a little B2B with her, that'd be great of you because then I won't have to pay for my membership and I really need you to help me out here. They'll do that. Even if the boss or decision maker has no interest at all in Planet Beach, they will work it for you, kind of like the ambassador program, kind of like member referrals, how those are so easy to close because the members working them into buying it because they have something in it for them. Same goes for their places of work. So keep that in mind and remember that. And always remember that everybody wins. Don't forget that. Everybody wins. You want to call everybody because that's worst case, you get 20 business cards in there. Think about if just like every single one of those places, their offices had one person show up from their places of work with one other person, how many red appointments that would be. You get your red appointment filled for the rest of the month, for sure, from that. So that's your lead generation tip that you guys can start working on. Sales. Sell the 20 for $20 now and get the cash to reload all those bank accounts after this past payroll hit, right? We want to be sure that we go back into, we want to reload those bank accounts. We want to make sure that our daily productivity is still there. But at the same time, what we can do is use the idea like we talked about last week in this with the text messages and with your emails. Plug in your information if you're interested in receiving this $100 and something value for $20 to get 20 days unlimited use of your whatever, right? So enter in your information. You're literally getting a list from the lead capture on people going, hey, call me for my credit card. So do that with that and with your text messages, as well as before the end of the month, whether you mark it on a calendar or not, managers, franchisees, maybe pull a report, pull a marketing query of all your customers only. Pull a report of everybody who came in by filtering out what they purchased, right? And then say, okay, all of these people, look, this is when they bought the 20 days for $20. This person's been here already 10 days. It's time to move in. If you need to physically designate some of these customers to your spa consultants by saying, okay, you're responsible for buying it back from these five people, but make it clear, make it easy, make it a clear understanding of what your expectations are, and do that kind of stuff because that can drive in not only sales, but let's think about those cancellations and how this is going to balance out in May 1st draft. You want to allow for when you run that draft a lot of cards with this chip and chip in the card situation. You want to allow a lot of people to not go through and then pay it off throughout the month like they're doing right now. So allow for not only that, but allow for not only the people that are set to cancel, but also allow for the people set that you were expecting not to go through, and incorporate that and say, you know, by getting these people to buy back and getting nothing right now, I'm collecting dues on May 1st, and that's really going to help me because I have a lot of cancellations. So it's important you monitor when they've purchased and that your team knows in every possible opportunity to buy back, buy back, buy back. Now, go in the newsletter. If you missed the buyback training with the multi-visit guest pass procedure script and manual to train off of, because there is literally an example script on how to approach a buyback, that is available from the newsletter. Just go down to the part where we talk about the 20 days for 20 and then we talk about buying them back. It's hyperlinked all over in there, and it's in Orion, so definitely check that out. Now, what are you waiting for? You got so much to do. I already took up so much of your time because I know you guys love this information and you just love getting this motivation from me every week. But remember this. I wanted to be positive for you guys because it is up to you guys to take that positivity back down to your team. Without that element, that is a key ingredient on success, is positivity. That will make or break a sale, that will make or break a spirit, that will make or break the positivity, the motivation, and everything that ties into that will reflect the bank deposit tonight. So what does that mean? Take one small, teeny tiny little positive thought. Make one. Just one tiny little positive thought in the morning and watch how it changes the snowball effect. It's going to change the rest of your day and how you're viewing if something is a problem or if something is just simply in the way, but there's tons of solutions to get around that, right? That will determine if you're going to have a successful and productive day. Brainstorm, critical think, include your staff, but all in all, at the end of the day, most importantly, push and inspire them in a positive way. Now, thank you guys so much. You guys rock. Now go kick butt. It's mid-month. We need to see some numbers driven in from you guys. You can do it. You guys are rock stars. You're eagles. You know this already, but I'm stroking your ego because you called in and you rely on me to get that motivation. So without further ado, we will talk to you guys on Wednesday. Please be sure you attend that webinar so you can host this meeting. And as always, don't forget to be awesome. Bye, you guys.